Beneath the silence of the night, there are secrets left untold, stories long buried in the earth, hidden by the fear of men. But no matter how you try to avoid them, sometimes mystery and the supernatural knock on the door of your life. And when you answer, there is no turning back. Not every shadow comes from you. In the stillness of the night, something else is breathing. One more step, and you can never return. From the darkness, someone whispered your name. Sometimes, mystery is far more terrifying than the truth.
(1969), Great Smoky Mountains, Tennessee. It was June 14th, 1969, Father's Day weekend, when the Martin family arrived at the edge of the sprawling Great Smoky Mountains National Park. The air was crisp, and the dense forest shimmered under the warm sunlight. William and Clyde Martin, brothers, had brought their sons for a weekend of hiking and camping near Spencefield, a grassy meadow over 4,000 feet above sea level. The Martins had hiked this route before. They knew the woods, trusted them. 6-year-old Dennis Martin, a shy but playful boy, wore a bright red t-shirt and was excited to play a prank with his older brother and cousins. While the adults chatted, the boys agreed to sneak around the bushes and jump out yelling "boo" to surprise their fathers. But as the laughter echoed and the children popped out from hiding, only 3 emerged. Dennis was gone. William Martin immediately ran down the trail, yelling his son's name, covering nearly 2 miles in a matter of minutes. No response. No sound of rustling, crying, or footsteps. Nothing. It was as if the forest had opened its mouth and swallowed Dennis whole. What followed was the largest search operation in National Park Service history. Over 1,400 volunteers, rangers, firefighters, and even the National Guard swept the area. Bloodhounds were brought in. Helicopters buzzed overhead. Yet no trace, not a footprint, not a shred of clothing, not even a broken twig that gave any clue. The scent vanished as quickly as the boy had. Then came the strange reports. That same afternoon, the Key family, hiking in another section of the park near Rowan's Creek, just a few miles from where Dennis disappeared, heard a chilling scream. Moments later, the father, Harold Key, spotted something in the distance. A rough, unkempt man darting through the brush, carrying something over his shoulder. The man moved fast, as if trying to avoid being seen. Mr. Key didn't think much of it until he returned home and learned of Dennis's disappearance. He contacted the park rangers, reporting what he had seen. But park officials were hesitant to accept the tip. They claimed the location was too far from the search site and dismissed it. Then, something even more unsettling happened. The FBI quietly got involved and then abruptly pulled out, offering no public explanation. Stranger still, the U.S. Army's elite special forces, Green Berets, arrived in secret, independently launching their own search. They refused to share information with park rangers. Their presence was never explained. These weren't typical search and rescue personnel. These were trained combat operatives. Why would elite soldiers be deployed for a child lost in the woods? Locals began to whisper. Old tales resurfaced. The Cherokee, the original inhabitants of the Smokies, had long warned of the region's cursed places. Some mountains were said to be sacred, others forbidden. Spencefield lay not far from one of these sites. The Cherokee told stories of wild men, not quite human, not quite animal. Primal figures that roamed the backwoods, creatures that watched, waited, took. Seasoned hikers reported hearing strange sounds in that region. Stone clacks, whispers on the wind, long wails at dusk. Some claimed to see figures crouched low, watching from the tree line. eyes glinting like animals, but shaped like men. In later years, some searchers came forward, anonymously, claiming they were warned not to go into certain ravines, not because they were dangerous terrain, but because the area was considered hot. One ranger allegedly confessed decades later that the Green Berets believed something not human had taken Dennis. But the Park Service, fearing panic and tourism backlash, buried the story. Theories swirled for decades. Animal attack? No blood, no remains, no signs of a struggle. Lost and perished in the elements? Unlikely. The search was immediate and thorough. Kidnapped? Perhaps. But how? In broad daylight, in the middle of a national park swarming with people. Nothing added up. Years later, a man hiking off trail in a remote ravine found a child's shoe, small, worn, and half-buried. He handed it over to the park rangers, but it was never confirmed if it belonged to Dennis. Official reports never mentioned it again. And then, silence. No bones, no closure, just rumors, whispers, and fear. Visitors to Spencefield today often report an overwhelming sense of dread. Hikers have gone missing in the same area, only to reappear hours later with no memory of where they'd been. Some claim to hear the faint sound of a child crying, or laughter echoing deep in the woods where no one should be. The Martins never stopped searching. William died without ever learning what happened to his son. The disappearance broke the family. But the case, unsolved for over 50 years, still lingers in the minds of those who walk those trails. Because what haunts the Smoky Mountains isn't just the echo of a child's last day. It's the eerie truth that in one of the most visited parks in America, a boy vanished, without a sound, without a trace, surrounded by people. And something in those ancient hills knows why. To this day, hikers vanish in the same stretch of forest. Radios go dead. Screams echo with no source. Some return confused, silent. Others never do. Locals still leave red shirts near the trail, tiny offerings, hoping, perhaps, to calm whatever watches from the trees. Because Dennis Martin didn't just disappear. He was taken, and the Smoky Mountains are still waiting.